Hello, welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk about the hardest thing I ever had to face in my life. And the hardest thing I had to face was giving my child up for adoption. Um, that was the hardest thing I ever had to do in my life. And probably the next hardest thing was just fixing up that I actually really did that shit. A little bit background on me. I came out of an abusive relationship. Marriage. Um, it was very toxic from from sun up to sundown. It was just toxic, a bad experience that I would never wish on my worst enemy. I was kind of tortured in that relationship. They kind of messed up all up in her. It was all messed up. So, which leads me all the way down to why I made the decision that I made with my son. I felt at the time that it was probably best for him, but it wasn't best for me because I went through so much when dealing with the action that I made. I went through a lot dealing with that, and then finally being able to talk about it and not cry. It's getting to that point. But my son was born with Down syndrome. I didn't know that he had Down syndrome until he was out. He was born, and then they diagnosed him with that. And at that time, I had folks, instead of helping me and trying to find ways to get me on the right and right, it was a lot of judgment. Like, what did you do? Did you do drugs? Did you do this, do that? So I already had that guilt of feeling like, oh, it was my fault. Um, After that, I ended up marrying my high school boyfriend at the time, Isaiah's father. I ended up marrying him. I didn't marry him because I wanted to be married per se. I kind of wanted to be because I wanted a family, but then I didn't want it to because I was so young. And it was almost like a push from his mom then to go ahead and marry her. You got to go ahead and marry her. So we did get married, and it was constantly abuse, constantly mental abuse. You know, I had bloody eyes, black eyes, bloody noses, talked down to. I was so depressed during that time. I was so depressed I couldn't even move. I slept a lot. I probably got up, fed my kids, whatever, and back in the bed. I was really depressed, and I didn't have no help. My mom, she was really sick. She was dying, and also she was on drugs. So I didn't have that support. Um, my brothers and sisters, they're younger than me, so they probably didn't even know how to help me. But, I went through it, I got through it, and I made my way out of it too. I got out of that relationship. I left him, and it was still kind of like an abuse abuse after that because I think the last time he abused me was when he abused me in public in front of everybody, like stripped me naked in front of everybody, like, and that kind of changed me because I knew when I left him, I was ready for the world. I was ready to do everything. I was ready to pay bills. I was ready to take care of my kids full fledged. I had my like maybe my third job in my lifetime at that time, and I was ready to do good things because I had long left that relationship. But that last time that he abused me, I felt like I was nothing. I felt like I didn't even know why I was here. I felt like, why? If my own parents already had rejected me, and then man that was supposed to love me rejected me by abusing me. Inside, I felt like I was nothing, and I had just lost everything, lost everything that was helping me to move into a positive way. I lost it. I just like fuck the world, because the world don't love me. Nobody loved me, and I couldn't find that strength in my kids from somehow. I just couldn't at that time, and I ended up moving on with my life. Even after that, I ended up moving on with my life. I started self-medicating. I wasn't doing hard drugs, but I was doing weed. I was smoking weed a lot during that time, and it was kind of like overpowering my life because I was present. I was there, but I wasn't present. I was doing things that I was supposed to, but I wasn't there. And it was taking a toll on my son and my daughter, and also on me because I was just not there anymore. I had changed. I was a sad person. I was hurting inside. I also went to help, try to get help, but those people didn't help me. They didn't help me. I remember going to seeing a lady, probably at one of the facilities that my son worked at. I poured out my heart to this lady. I told her, she was a counselor. I told her what was going on inside me. That lady never reached out to me. That never reached out to me and never tried to help me. And at that time, I couldn't even help myself because I was hurting so much. And as then time went on, I started just getting worse and worse, just not being present, not being there. But I was there, but I wasn't there, you know. And it was just the struggle of having to take on the special needs child. People judging me, oh, I couldn't do that if I was her, you know. I, I started being into myself. I didn't make no relationships, no friends, because all I wanted to do is just smoke weed and just not be there because couldn't nobody understand my pain. And mind you, I didn't have a mom. I didn't have nobody. Yeah, they say you got Jesus. That's what they say. But at that time, I didn't have him either because he wasn't listening to me because I prayed, and that's the truth. So, which lead up to the part where my son, where I had to make a decision about my son. Well, before then, my I ended up having to go to jail for a speeding ticket that I couldn't pay at the time, and I was in jail for a minute, for a couple of days. Cause here, if you don't pay a ticket, they'll put your ass in jail. Stupid ass motherfuckers. They'll put you in jail, and at the time, I can remember telling my sister, pay the ticket, come get me out, pay the ticket, get me out. And for, I guess I was wilding so bad during that time, I don't know, or jealousy, I don't know. She chose to let me stay, but I felt like it was all like I don't know what it was, but what she did to me, I would have never done to her. And so while I was in jail, finally, probably the last days once uh, DSS and everything was went to her house and looking for her, looking for me. They found out I was in jail. Went to her house and she threw me under the bus and let them take my kids away. She did that. The same day they came to her house and got my kids is the same day she paid my bond for me to get out of jail. Ain't that a bitch? Um, but she did pay the bond, and I got out of jail. And the way the jail setup is here, if anybody in the South knows, South Carolina knows about Lexington, um, I ain't gonna give you a little bit more information than that, but it's way back there up in like a wooded area somewhere. And I remember getting out of jail, and I remember them letting me out, and I didn't have no body there to pick me up. So as I'm walking, it's a long road. The road is like really long. As I'm walking down the road, walking the way down the road, I mean this road is really long. I don't know. But by the time I got out of the jail and walked all the way down the damn road, I met up with the DSS car and my kids. And I started running towards them, and I started running, and I couldn't I didn't know the area where the family services was. So I ended up going to the wrong place. And how I knew that was what the car that was the car because my daughter waved at me. And so that's how I knew. And they had took my kids. So by then, mind you, I was staying with my sister then at that time. Um, she just act like it was nothing. The love she never showed her kids before she was showing her kids not that mine was gone. And I just felt some type of way. I don't know. I just felt some type of way. So I said, you know what? Let me just go. So I ended up going to the devil. Not my ex-husband, some other guy I had met. I ended up going. And I just started, just being out of it still. Just smoking reefer. Not focusing on what I was supposed to be doing. Not knowing who I was. Nothing. Mind you, DSS didn't do what they were supposed to do to help me either. I already felt lost. I already been depressed. Was depressed. Um, they never try to get me no. They never try to help me at all. And I couldn't help myself because I didn't even know how to help myself. You know. I didn't know how to help myself. I still had that abuse mentality. I was still being abused. I was abusing myself. No, I was constantly abusing myself. I knew I wanted my kids. I knew I wanted my life, but I didn't. When it came to my son, it was like everything I did with him was wrong. Everything I did for him was was judgment. Everything from the time he was born, it was always judgment on me. And I tried my best. I really did. I tried my best. I tried my best to make sure they had a place to stay and everything. But as things started to come to come down on me, I just because mind you, when I did leave and divorce Isaiah dad, his whole family divorced me. They not one time came over there to check on my son. They didn't do nothing for him. None of that. It was just me out here trying to take care of this child by myself, and I was weak. I'm not scared. I'm not scared to admit it. I was a weak person at that time. I didn't have no sense of direction. None. None. No sense of direction. I was lost. I was lost, and I just didn't know what to do. So once I did get myself a little bit straight and get where I was in my own place and own space, I was able to get my daughter back or whatnot. And I was constantly thinking about my son, trying to work on getting him, and it was just so much on my shoulders. It was just like the Obama, like, oh, they just gonna judge you. You're not right. You can't do nothing right. So it was almost like that judgment of what I was going through in my abusive relationship, and hearing it from other people. It kind of just kept playing over in my head. Like, I'm gonna hurt him. Like, I'm hurting him, not physically hurting him, but I'm hurting him, and I didn't want to keep hurting him because I'm hurt. Because I was being hurt, I was hurt. So I felt like I was hurting him, and I didn't want to keep hurting him. And I felt like if somebody else or could give him the best than what I was giving him at that time, then maybe I could give him a chance. But if I knew what I know now, I was being hurt. I was still hurting, and I didn't want him to hurt anymore because I was hurting him because everybody was telling me I was. And his dad and his mom, they never stepped in and said, well, you know what, we gonna be a village, we gonna make this work. This, that, third. They was like, no, yeah, that's the best thing you need to do. Yeah. And I made that decision, and it kind of like, it hurted me for a long time. It hurted me so much that I just couldn't get to a place where I could go back and just like go back and get him because I was still hurt. I was still in that abuse mentality because I never went to nowhere to try to face it. I never did. I just kept self medicating. I continued to work, but I never dealt with those issues until it just came down on me one day, and it was just like, oh my God, what did I do? You know. And since then, me and my sister relationship, my family relationship, we has been ruined because she hurt me. She threw me under the bus. I would have never let them came in and took her kids. They wouldn't have got her kids. No way how. So I'm not still in that place anymore. I've forgiven myself. I've forgiven myself. Being that I can sit here and talk on camera about it without crying, I know I did some work, you know. I know I did some work. And I'm just sharing this to somebody, who may be feeling like, they aren't good enough, or they feel like they can't forgive themselves for a decision or something that they've made in their life that's keep holding them back or holding over their shoulder, that you can forgive yourself. You know, once I stopped blaming other people, that's another thing. I was blaming people. Once it all came down on me, and I really I realized that, what I'm saying, oh shit, look what the hell, when I did snap out of it, and I was like, what the hell? And I started blaming people, and I started asking, why y'all let me do? Because it's like I woke up one day and I was like, why y'all let me do it? And they was like, how we gonna stop you from doing it? And once it all came together, and I realized I can't blame nobody else for what I did or my decision that I made. stop blaming other people and woman up to what I did, I start healing. I kid you not. I feel like my son is probably in a good place. He probably where he's supposed to be. I don't know. But what I do know is everything happened for a reason. I do know that. I know that, it hadn't been easy. I still got people who look at me sideways in my hometown like, because they always used to see me with getting my child wheelchair bound because I had to get the wheelchair out, get him, had my little daughter on the side. They always saw that. And so they probably the whole city probably knew. But not one person ever came to say, how you feeling? How you doing? Are you okay? Nobody. Nobody. But I know other people you know, would probably would call would text me something about some stuff or something about something that was said to them about me, and I'm like, I never talked to you. How you know that? So it probably was a family member or something that said something about my situation, but they never asked me about my situation. You know, I went through the struggle. I went through the pain. Now all it is healing rain. That's been about 12 years ago. And like I said, it was hard. It was hard. I would say I didn't probably start really healing and getting over it probably about 4 years ago, maybe. Oh, not even damn 4 years ago. Let me take that back because we were standing my probably about 2 or 3 years ago. Once my dad passed away, my biological dad passed away, everything really just started hitting me like hard, like really hard. Like people just started passing away around me, and I was just like, what the hell, you know? And I told myself I got to get through this, or it's gonna kill me, or I'm not gonna survive. And I made a choice, a conscious decision that I'm gonna heal, that I'm gonna be free of this. Those people, they let me down. I let myself down. We let Isaiah down. But it's not the end of the world. We made a decision. We can't take it back. All we can do, all I can do, or we or whoever who's hurting with me, move forward. And that's what I said I was gonna do with the rest of my life is move forward. I pray for my son. I love my son. All I wanted was the best because I know hurt people hurt people. And everybody around me was telling me I was hurting him. And I felt like that myself, that I was hurting him because I was still hurt. I was still hurt. And when you don't get the help that you need, you make all types of wrong decisions. You know. I'm a victor. I'm a survivor. I choose to live. I choose to get myself right and not let this dictate my whole life. And if there's anybody out here that's going through the same thing that I've been through, or just feel like it's the end of the road, it's not. Spiritually, I believe my mom, my dad, my stepdad, my ancestors, they're watching over me. Because if they wasn't, I don't even know how I would have got this far. And that's real talk. I've seen death many times. Many times. It's a song that I used to play by Mary Mary. It said, uh, I can't give up now. I come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me this road was gonna be easy. And that's the truth. And if God brought you this far, He not gonna leave you. He not. He not. So that's my little story. Um, that's my little story. And on my YouTube channel, I'll probably be talking about life experiences and stuff. Life experiences, politics, spirituality, mental health, domestic violence, stuff like that on my channel. That's what I'll be probably be talking about. Um, dumb shit. Not all of it dumb shit, but you know what I'm saying, dumb shit that happened in the world. That's what I'll be talking about. So if you're interested in just listening to me talk, and just share some things, like just talking about my situation just now, that's healing. That's healing for me. So just talking about that and just like releasing, because I just released. I felt like I just released because the whole world or whoever else that listens to this video, you're a stranger. If you see this video, you know my business, and that's hard. It's hard telling people your business because people are judgmental and they like to judge you. You know, people like to judge you, and I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. That's my story. That's what I had to go through. And I'm still going through issues because of some of the stuff that I've been through in the past. But I'm gonna get through it, and whatever you going through, you gonna get through it too. We can get through it together. So just hit the like button, subscribe, share, and thank you for listening to my channel. I'm Renee Michelle. Have a nice day.